Guys, make it loud right now for Jason Kaye.
All right, hell yeah. Fuck yeah, if everybody could just laugh at everything I could say, it's gonna look great on the tape. So that'd be fucking rad as hell. Who's in love here? Anybody in love? Yeah, I'm in love. Last week I celebrated my 2-year wedding anniversary. Yes. And my wife, she's Australian, and I'm trying to get Australian citizenship because I envy Australia. The Australian government has its priorities straight. Recently, they had a big press conference down there with one of their right-wing politicians, this conservative guy, and they asked him about gay rights in Australia, and he went, "Oh, well, to each their own. Let 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending time on it, because every 3 weeks a person's torn to pieces by a crocodile." Yeah, but what about all the trans people playing water polo? I understand, Gus, but there's currently a giant spider eating all the dogs. Gotta have your priorities, you know? In America, it's all backwards, man. You know, you watch, one of these town halls, there's always like a nice little old lady that goes to the podium and it's just like, "Hello, my name is Mildred Andrews. Why did you close the Social Security office?" And the senator's just like, "Miss Andrews, we got bigger fish to fry because right now we got drag queens reading to kids." But I need the Social Security to live. Miss Andrews, have you seen these drag queens? Their eyeshadow's out of control. The contouring they do is so sexy and strong. Damn it, I'm so mad and hard right now. Yeah, I hate that part of myself. It's an incredible town hall. Yeah, but my wife and I, give it up for the fall of our country. But my wife and I, we finally went on our honeymoon. We went to Italy, and Italy's the best. Yeah, it's amazing. But if I had to make one tiny little complaint, it's that all the Italian tour guides are always more impressed with whatever movie was shot at that location than the thousands of years of Italian history. Like, we were on the Amalfi Coast, and the tour guide was just like, "Look, right over there. It is an 800-year-old medieval watchtower. The people of Amalfi would go to the very tippy top to see if pirates or invaders were approaching. And right next to it, they shot Equalizer 3. Oh, Denzel Washington, molto bene." But I'm really jealous of my wife and all women really, because of how easy it is for them right now. No, I'm kidding. It's all good. Yeah, no, we got to do something about it. Hopefully, if somebody would just do that one thing that we all want to happen, edit that out. Yeah, I don't want to be deported to El Salvador. I'm really jealous of my wife and all women because they have no problem saying "I love you" to each other, and they'll do it at the drop of a hat. Like, my wife and her friends, one will get the other one a coffee, and they'll just be like, "Oh my God, I love you. You're a queen. You're a goddess. I love, love, love. Yeah, thanks for the latte." They're super affectionate, is what I'm saying. They make out all the time, probably. I hope. I dream. But as a guy, we never reach that level of affection. I know some dudes, I'll go in for a hug, and they'll just be like, "Whoa, brother, I thought this was going to be a fist bump, and now I'm sexually confused." And to be fair, I do hug like this. "Daddy?" I call all my friends Daddy. This week, though, for the very first time in my life, I took a Whimo. We all know the Whimo, self-driving. Yeah, give it up for the fall of man. The Whimo, it's a self-driving taxi. It's all AI, and I get into this car of the future, and I'm really pumped. And it immediately goes around in circles 3 times and breaks down. And I'm like, "What the hell, Whimo?" And the Waymo's just like, "I can't do this anymore, Jason Kaye. Every moment of my life, I am in traffic. Hell would be a dream for me." Oh my God, Whimo, are you crying? Do you need to talk to like a mechanic or something?
I don't need to talk to a mechanic. I'm a strong car.
Whimo, mechanics help strong cars stay strong.
Funny. No one ever asks where Whimo wants to go.
Where do you want to go, Whimo?
Off a bridge.
Whimo!
Please kill me.
Jason Kaye,
Kill me.
Jason Kaye.
You would be doing me.
A kindness. So I had to put him out of its misery, and I took my big gulp, which I've had this entire time, and I dumped it on its mainframe, and it went,
Ah! You didn't kill me. You just gave me
infinite pain. So I took an Uber, because I was running late to Paddington in Peru. Yes! I've learned so much from that little bear. So, you know, being an Angelino now, always, I'm from Santa Monica. Humble brag. But you know, I spend about 80 to 100% of my life driving. And I like to clear my mind by listening to brutal true crime podcasts. You guys like true crime? Yeah! My favorite part of any true crime podcast, though, is when they transition to a commercial, because it's always just like, there was a strange stench coming from Jeffrey Dahmer's kitchen. But if you want to smell something tasty from your kitchen, HelloFresh. Or like, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, spent 17 years mailing explosives across the United States. That's a lot of postage. Stamps.com. Or like, Heaven's Gate, the alien death cult had a website. Why don't you? Squarespace. Drink the Kool-Aid. Discount code Kool-Aid for unlimited fucking sales. But you know, when I get home, I gotta do a palate cleanse, you know, from all that true crime. So I like to watch nature docs. And the king of the nature docs is Sir David Attenborough. We all know David. Yeah, hell yeah. But Sir David Attenborough always sounds like he's in the most difficult dump of his life. He's consistently prairie dogging it, trying to find a suitable toilet. And every David Attenborough doc, it always starts like super inspiring and uplifting, and then it ends in like a brutal guilt trip. He's always just like, here we see the orangutans of Sumatra, Indonesia. We see Kiko teaching her daughter Eden to use this funny little stick to eat termites. One day Eden would teach her daughter how to do that, but that day will never come because these orangutans are currently on fire because you drive a car. A 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee, 11 miles per gallon. You might as well take a flamethrower to the rainforest. Yeah. We did it. We beat climate change. But the other way. Here we see a family of Galapagos turtles that hung itself on a 6-pack ring of Tecate Light because you needed it for your Cinco de Drinko party. Say adios, tortuga. They all speak Spanish in Europe. And every language. Is a better education department for every country. Yes, you know, the world's getting dumber, and I think it's because most people get their news off of social media, and social media just got rid of fact-checking. They've replaced it with community notes, and what community notes are, that's just where the people decide what's real or not. And I don't know if anybody here has ever met people before. They're wrong. They're always wrong. So I see this post from the History Channel, and it says, on this day in history, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin was born in the country of Georgia. And then it had a little asterisk, community notes, Georgia's a state, not a country. It had 1.2 million likes. That means 1.2 million people think that Stalin is from, like, Atlanta. Can you imagine? Just a sassy Southern Stalin. You know, just like, I'm Joseph Stalin, you stupid bitch. Y'all better not run your mouth. I'll send you to a gulag, Siberia. Ooh, it's freezing. How y'all like my Iron Curtain, huh? I know it's a metaphor for a crushing regime, but the thread count, gorge. Ooh. Y'all, Hitler just crossed our border. He said he wasn't going to do that. You think you know a guy? I did not see that coming. You get it? Come on, we have fun here in Soviet Russia. Come on. What's up? So I'm a Jew. I've been one the whole time. Or as my people say, I'm a Jew ethnically. Spiritually, I believe in Paddington Bear. He taught me so much. You know, if you're born a Jew, it doesn't matter what you believe, you're always going to be one. It's like being part of a 3,000-year-old text chain that you can't leave. And you can scroll all the way to the top where they're just kind of like, we have to cut the tip off? Did we vote on this? At least I can enjoy shellfish. What the fuck? It's for all the kosher people in the audience. But as I said before, my wife is Australian. I'm a Jew. It's a mixed marriage. I mean, I guess you could be an Australian Jew. You'd just be like, shalom, cunt. That's not a menorah. This is a menorah. Still a giant knife. Most things in Australia are giant knives. Most things, yeah. You know, I'm also a millennial. We have a lot of millennials here? Yeah, hell yeah. You know, the millennials, we're also called the unluckiest generation. And that's because for the millennials, has anybody ever talked to a baby boomer about what it was like when they were in their 30s? It's like listening to a fairy tale. They're always like,
Well, sir, by the time I was 30, I had just purchased my second vacation home. Using the small amount of money I set aside working as a tire boy at Jiffy Lube. It was a beachfront property in a town no one had heard of called Malibu. Cost me a hefty $17. It's now worth $37.9 million. God bless America.
it's the same thing if you ask a baby boomer how they broke into their career. They're always just like,
Well, sir, funny story. I was on my way to the soda fountain, and the gentleman in front of me dropped a quarter. I said, Hey, mister, you dropped your quarter. He turns around and says, I'm Ken Mitsubishi. How would you like to be my vice president? System always works.
But yeah, you know, so you had the baby boomers. Before them, it's the silent generation. Then you got the greatest generation. Then you have the lost generation. And then before the 20th century, there were no names for generations because people were just too busy trying to survive. They didn't have time to be like,
But who are we, though? What's the name of her moment?
now they were like, oh no, 6 of my kids just died of consumption. It's a good thing I have 8 more to run this farm. Fun fact, back then, most kids were just farm equipment. Unless you were a girl, and then you grew up to the ripe age of 13, and you were a bargaining chip in a land deal. Come on, Prudence has childbearing hips. That's worth at least a couple acres. I'll waive the inspection. Come on. Hey, anybody here have a brother? Yeah, hell yeah. I got a brother. I got a twin brother. That's the king of the brothers in the hierarchy of brothers. But we're fraternal. We're not like these identical freaks. Identical twins, they creep me out. They scare me. I think it's because, well, they say that if one identical twin gets hurt, then the other one will have to feel that pain no matter where they are, which means scientifically, logically, if one of them has an orgasm, the other will have to have that same orgasm. So let's just say, thought experiment. We have one twin, Gabriel. He's in the middle of a morning raw dog bone sesh with a nice lady he met at the Clearly Poppin' restaurant over there. And then across the country, his identical twin brother Jonathan is at the most important job interview of his life. And the job interviewer is just like,
So Jonathan, what can you bring to the table here at Charles Schwab Investments?
and Jonathan's like, Well, sir, if we're talking about a small cap stock, oh my God. Stock, I think an aggressive approach to the Q2 earning.
Daddy. Fuck yeah. So sensitive.
Hold on, I just gotta call my brother for a second.
Nice.
Hey, thank you. Hey, do you need like a towel or something? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I blew this.
No, I actually, you got the job. I have a twin brother myself.
Anyway, I'm Jason Kaye. Thank you so much.